Have you ever looked at one of your plants and thought, that's it, there's no saving this anymore? The leaves are limp, the stems look weak, and the soil either feels bone dry or soaked like a swamp. But before you throw that plant away, take a moment. Because many struggling plants aren't truly dead. They're simply stressed, exhausted, or recovering from the wrong conditions. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 easy and reliable methods that can help revive almost any dying plant and bring it back to health. And the best part is that you don't need expensive products, fancy gardening tools, or complicated treatments. With a bit of patience, the right care, and a better understanding of what your plant needs, you can completely transform it. So pick up that sad-looking plant sitting in the corner, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to help it recover, and why these techniques work so effectively every time. 1. The water reset, helping your plant breathe again. When a plant begins to suffer, the leaves droop, the soil stays wet for days, and the bright green color slowly fades into something dull and lifeless, most people instinctively reach for more water. It feels logical. A weak plant must be thirsty, right? But in reality, overwatering is one of the biggest reasons houseplants die. Too much water doesn't just wet the roots, it suffocates them. Healthy roots need oxygen just as much as they need moisture. Tiny pockets of air inside the soil allow roots to breathe properly. But when the soil stays soaked for too long, those air pockets disappear. The roots become trapped in stagnant moisture, begin to rot, and slowly stop functioning altogether. Once root rot starts, the damage spreads quickly. The roots turn dark brown or black, become soft and mushy, and often develop a foul smell. And when the roots fail, the entire plant starts collapsing soon after. So how do you rescue a plant that's already heading in that direction? The answer is something I call the water reset, a simple recovery process that restores oxygen to the roots and gives the plant a second chance at life. Start by gently removing the plant from its pot. Don't yank or pull harshly. If the soil feels tightly packed, loosen the edges slowly using your fingers or a spoon. Carefully slide the plant out and remove as much old soil as possible so you can clearly inspect the roots. At this point, you'll likely notice a mix of healthy and damaged roots. Healthy roots are usually white, pale beige, or light tan, and they feel firm and strong. Rotten roots look very different. They're dark, slimy, soft, and may even fall apart when touched. Using clean, sterilized scissors, trim away every damaged root you can find. Don't leave any rotten sections behind, because the decay can continue spreading through the healthy parts of the system. Now comes the most important recovery stage. Fill a clean container with room temperature water and add 1 teaspoon of hydrogen peroxide for every cup of water. This mixture helps oxygenate the roots, reduces harmful bacteria, and encourages healthy regrowth. Place the roots into the solution and allow them to soak for around 15 minutes. Not longer. Just enough time for the plant to absorb that oxygen boost. It's almost like watching the plant breathe deeply again after being underwater for too long. After the soak, remove the plant and let the roots rest on a towel for about an hour so excess moisture can dry slightly before repotting. And this next step matters more than most people realize. Do not place the plant back into the same old soil. Old soil can contain bacteria, fungus, compacted material, and lingering rot. Using it again often recreates the exact same problem. Instead, prepare fresh, airy, well-draining soil. Depending on the type of plant, you can mix in perlite, pumice, sand, or small stones to improve airflow and drainage. The goal is simple. Water should move through the soil easily instead of sitting around the roots. When repotting, keep the soil loose rather than tightly packed. Gently support the plant, cover the roots carefully, and press only enough to stabilize it. Then wait about a day before watering again. This allows freshly trimmed roots time to heal without being exposed to immediate moisture. Over the next several days, you'll begin noticing subtle but exciting signs of recovery. The leaves may become firmer, drooping may slow down, and the color can gradually return. Within a couple of weeks, new shoots or tiny leaves often begin appearing, a clear sign the plant is recovering its strength. It's honestly one of the most satisfying transformations to witness. Plants that seem completely hopeless, yellow, limp, collapsing, can sometimes recover beautifully after a proper water reset. All they needed was oxygen, patience, and a healthier environment. So the next time a plant looks like it's dying, resist the urge to drown it with more water. pause, inspect the roots, and help it breathe again. You may end up witnessing an incredible recovery right on your windowsill. 2. The leaf revival, restoring energy through pruning and cleaning. The leaves of a plant tell you almost everything about its condition. They're like living signals that reveal how the plant feels. When leaves begin curling, yellowing, drooping, or developing brown edges, the plant is quietly telling you that something is wrong. At this stage, many people panic, but recovery doesn't start with panic. It starts with restoration. The first step is careful pruning. Take a clean pair of sharp scissors and closely inspect your plant. Remove any leaves that are completely dry, heavily damaged, or mostly brown and dying. These unhealthy leaves continue draining the plant's limited energy and nutrients, leaving less strength available for healthy new growth. Think of it as removing dead weight so the living parts can recover more efficiently. Once you've finished pruning, it's time to clean the remaining healthy leaves. Over time, leaves collect dust, oils, mineral residue, and sometimes tiny pests that block their pores. When this buildup accumulates, it becomes harder for the plant to absorb light and exchange air properly. To clean them, mix a few drops of mild liquid soap or neem oil into lukewarm water. Dip a soft cloth or cotton pad into the mixture and gently wipe both sides of every healthy leaf. This simple process removes dirt, bacteria, pests, and sticky residue while helping the plant function normally again. Avoid soaking the leaves with too much water since excessive moisture sitting on the surface can encourage mold or spotting. Instead, support each leaf gently from underneath while wiping carefully. Almost immediately, the plant will begin looking healthier. The leaves often appear brighter, smoother, shinier, and more vibrant after cleaning. Next comes light recovery. After pruning and cleaning, don't place the plant directly into strong sunlight. A recovering plant needs gentle conditions while rebuilding strength. Move it into a bright area with indirect light where it can safely restart photosynthesis without experiencing stress or leaf burn. This method is especially effective for tropical houseplants such as monstera, peace lily, and calathea, which naturally grow beneath forest canopies rather than in harsh, direct sun. Within a week or two, you'll often see fresh leaves slowly unfolding, small but powerful signs that the plant is healing. If you want to help the recovery process even more, increase humidity around the plant. You can lightly mist the surrounding air or place the pot on a shallow tray filled with pebbles and water. As the water evaporates, it creates a humid microclimate that many tropical plants absolutely love. Eventually, the transformation becomes obvious. The leaves begin standing upright again, the green color deepens, and the entire plant starts looking full of life once more. Because when leaves can breathe, absorb light efficiently, and stay clean, the whole energy system of the plant improves dramatically. It's a surprisingly simple process. Prune, clean, and allow the plant to recover gradually. Yet it can completely revive even the weakest-looking houseplants. 3. The root recovery, restoring strength from beneath the soil. When a plant begins looking unhealthy, most people focus immediately on the leaves, stems, or flowers. But the real issue is often hidden underground. By the time leaves start yellowing or drooping, the roots are usually already struggling. Roots are the plant's entire support system. They absorb water, collect nutrients, store energy, and keep the plant alive. In many ways, they function like the plant's heart, lungs, and stomach combined into one system. And if those roots become damaged, compacted, or infected with rot, no amount of sunlight or fertilizer will truly solve the problem. That's why this method, the root recovery, focuses on healing the plant from the foundation upward. Step 1. Examine the root system. Carefully begin by gently removing the plant from its pot. Never pull it forcefully. Tap the sides of the container, loosen the soil gradually, and if necessary, rinse away stubborn dirt using lukewarm water. Once the roots are visible, inspect them closely. Healthy roots are usually pale in color, white, cream, or light tan, and they feel firm and solid. Unhealthy roots appear dark brown or black, feel mushy, and may carry a sour or rotten smell. Using sterilized scissors, trim away every damaged section. Don't hesitate to remove large portions if necessary. A plant recovers far more successfully with a few healthy roots than with many infected ones that continue spreading decay. Step 2. The detox bath. Next comes a cleansing soak designed to refresh and protect the remaining healthy roots. Fill a bowl with clean water and mix in a teaspoon of activated charcoal. Allow the roots to soak for around 10 minutes. Activated charcoal naturally helps absorb toxins, bacteria, fungus, and impurities, while also improving oxygen flow around the roots. Think of it as a deep cleansing treatment that gives the plant a fresh start. After soaking, place the plant on a towel and allow the roots to air dry for about 30 to 60 minutes. The roots should remain slightly damp, not dripping wet. This short resting period helps small cuts seal naturally and reduces the risk of future infection. Step 3. Replant into healthy soil. Now it's time to prepare fresh soil suited to your specific type of plant. For succulent plants and cacti, use a gritty, sandy mix that drains quickly. For tropical plants, a cocoa coir or peat-based blend works beautifully because it retains moisture while still allowing airflow. For herbs and flowering plants, choose rich, loose, loamy soil filled with organic matter. And here's a simple gardening trick many experienced growers swear by. Sprinkle a small amount of cinnamon into the bottom of the pot, or lightly onto the roots themselves. Cinnamon acts as a gentle, natural antifungal treatment. It helps protect vulnerable roots from rot while encouraging fresh new growth. Place the plant into the pot carefully, spread the roots naturally, and fill around them with soil. Avoid pressing the soil down too firmly. Roots need oxygen and room to expand. Step 4. Water. Slowly and carefully. After repotting, wait a full day before watering. This gives the roots time to settle and recover from trimming. Then water slowly and evenly until moisture drains from the bottom of the pot. From this point forward, avoid letting the plant sit in standing water. Consistent, soggy conditions are exactly what caused the original problem in many cases. Over the next 10 to 14 days, begin watching for small signs of progress. The stems may become firmer. The leaves may lift upward again. New healthy roots may begin forming beneath the soil. Eventually, bright white root tips and fresh growth appear. Clear proof that the plant is healing successfully. Because once the roots recover, the entire plant begins recovering too. Growth strengthens, leaves regain color, and flowering often returns healthier than before. So when a plant seems hopeless, remember to look below the surface. Clean the roots, protect them properly, and allow nature time to rebuild what was damaged. Even severely weakened plants can recover beautifully with patience, proper care, and a healthy root system once again. 4. The nutrient boost. Bringing life back into the soil. Sometimes a plant doesn't look weak because it's sick. Sometimes it's simply hungry. And one of the biggest misunderstandings in gardening is thinking that soil is just dirt. In reality, healthy soil is a living ecosystem filled with microorganisms, fungi, bacteria, and beneficial organisms that quietly support your plant every single day. Over time, however, that living environment becomes exhausted. Frequent watering slowly washes nutrients away. Potting mixes lose their vitality after months of use. And too much synthetic fertilizer can actually damage the soil by causing salt buildup that blocks the roots from absorbing essential minerals properly. The plant may technically be surrounded by nutrients, yet still be unable to use them. That's where the nutrient boost method becomes so powerful. Instead of simply feeding the plant itself, you restore life to the soil surrounding it. Wake the soil. Backup, start by loosening the top layer of soil very gently, about 1 inch or 2 to 3 centimeters deep. There's no need to dig aggressively. The goal is simply to break apart the hardened surface so water and oxygen can move through more freely again. This simple action alone helps reactivate the soil ecosystem by allowing oxygen to reach microorganisms trapped beneath compacted dirt. Prepare a natural nutrient mixture. Now it's time to nourish the soil using gentle organic ingredients. Mix together 1 teaspoon of seaweed extract or fish emulsion, 1 tablespoon of compost or worm castings, 1 liter of lukewarm water. Seaweed extract and fish emulsion provide trace minerals, natural growth hormones, and micronutrients that support recovery. Compost and worm castings act as rich organic fertilizers filled with beneficial microbes and slow-release nutrients that rebuild soil health naturally. Stir the mixture thoroughly and pour it slowly around the base of the plant. Don't flood the pot. Allow the soil to absorb the liquid gradually so the roots can take in nutrients gently rather than becoming overwhelmed. Reviving the underground ecosystem. What makes this method so effective is that it feeds far more than just the plant itself. Beneficial bacteria begin multiplying again. Fungal networks restart beneath the surface. Microorganisms become active once more. Slowly, the soil transforms from tired and lifeless into a thriving underground ecosystem. And if you don't have compost or worm castings available, there are still simple natural alternatives. Water soaked with banana peels releases potassium and magnesium that help flowering plants thrive. Rice water contains trace minerals and amino acids that encourage healthier root development. Within a few weeks, the changes often become obvious. Leaves regain richer green color, stems become stronger and sturdier, fresh new shoots appear with renewed energy. Repeat this gentle feeding process every couple of weeks, and you'll gradually notice the soil becoming healthier, darker, softer, and far more alive. Because when the soil becomes healthy again, the plant usually follows right behind it. Healthy soil truly is the foundation of every healthy plant. 5. The environment reset. Creating the ideal space for recovery. Once your plant's roots have been cleaned, the soil has been refreshed, and nutrients have been restored, there's one final piece that completes the recovery process: rebuilding the right environment around the plant. Because even a healthy plant will continue struggling if the conditions around it don't match its natural needs. A plant's well-being depends on far more than the soil inside the pot. The surrounding atmosphere, the light, humidity, airflow, and temperature all play a huge role in whether it merely survives or truly thrives. Every plant species originally evolved in a very specific climate. And when you recreate even part of that natural environment indoors, the plant often begins healing almost automatically. Start with the right lighting. Light is the plant's main energy source. Without it, photosynthesis slows down, growth weakens, and recovery becomes difficult. But contrary to what many people believe, stronger light is not always better. Most indoor plants, especially tropical varieties, prefer bright but indirect light. In nature, many of them grow beneath taller trees where sunlight is filtered rather than harsh and direct. Placing a plant directly under intense midday sun can scorch the leaves, leaving behind dry brown patches and faded areas. On the other hand, insufficient light causes weak stems, pale leaves, and stretched, leggy growth. There's a simple way to check whether your lighting is appropriate. Hold your hand slightly above the plant. If the shadow appears soft and slightly blurred, the lighting is ideal. If the shadow looks dark and sharply defined, the sunlight may be too intense, and the plant should be moved slightly farther from the window. And if your home lacks enough natural light, that's completely manageable today. Modern LED grow lights are excellent at imitating natural daylight. Even 6 to 8 hours of supplemental lighting daily can dramatically improve plant recovery and growth. Increase humidity. Naturally. Humidity is another major factor many indoor plants desperately need. Tropical plants such as fern, monstera, calathea, and orchid naturally thrive in moist jungle air. Unfortunately, indoor heating systems and air conditioners often make homes far drier than these plants can comfortably tolerate. Thankfully, restoring humidity doesn't require complicated equipment. You can place a shallow bowl of water near the plant and allow it to evaporate naturally into the surrounding air. You can lightly mist around the plant during the morning hours, though it's best to avoid misting late at night, when moisture may remain on leaves too long and encourage fungal problems. Another excellent method is grouping several plants together. When clustered, plants naturally release moisture into the air around them, creating a small, humid microclimate that resembles a miniature indoor jungle. Maintain stable temperatures. Plants appreciate consistency far more than sudden changes. Cold drafts, nearby heaters, open windows during winter, or direct airflow from air conditioners can stress plants significantly and slow recovery. Most indoor plants recover best when temperatures stay relatively stable between 18 degrees Celsius and 24 degrees Celsius, or roughly 65 degrees Celsius to 75 degrees Celsius. That range creates ideal conditions for healthy growth, root activity, and leaf development. If you've ever noticed a plant suddenly looking healthier after moving it to another part of your home, it usually isn't coincidence. The new location simply provided better conditions, perhaps softer light, improved airflow, steadier warmth, or higher humidity. Learn to observe what the plant is telling you. One of the most important parts of plant care is learning to observe subtle signals. Plants constantly communicate through their appearance. Slight drooping may indicate thirst. Crispy brown leaf tips often suggest low humidity. Pale new leaves may point toward nutrient deficiencies or insufficient light. Once you begin recognizing these patterns, caring for plants becomes much more intuitive. You stop reacting randomly and start understanding what the plant is actually asking for. Over time, you become more than someone who waters a plant occasionally. You become deeply connected to its rhythm and needs. So take a careful look at the environment surrounding your plant. Adjust the lighting if needed, increase humidity gently, keep temperature stable and comfortable. Allow fresh airflow without exposing the plant to harsh drafts. When you create conditions that truly match a plant's natural habitat, recovery becomes much easier, and growth becomes far more vibrant. Because a healthy plant does more than simply stay alive. It fills a space with freshness, color, energy, and life. And when a plant finally feels at home, it shows you through every new leaf it grows.